So it sounds like film festivals are still very important for you to not only show the film and you know, win awards and have those laurels there, but meet people and do sort of, again, the meet and greet, and that's part of the following for the next one.
Totally. Absolutely for me. I mean, like, we kickstarted this film, you know, and I raised $20,000, you know, and that's from, you know, people that I've met along the way who, you know, give a damn about me making another film. And like, a lot of that is film festival people. But I'll say this as well. I meet filmmakers who I learn from, who become assets to me. Like, you know, Paul Osborne, who cast me in Favor, we met at the first film festival I ever went to for my first movie, Outside Sales. Went there, met Paul, became great friends. Now, like, I'm using his house for this interview. You know what I mean? Like, he is a great asset. Like, Zach Forsman, met him, you know, at Oklahoma, I believe, and got to see his movie, and he's been an inspiration to me. And like, you learn by surrounding yourself by talented people who push each other and give notes to each other. And like, you know, I can't tell you how many really great writers I can just send my script to, and they'll read it, and they'll make it better by telling me what, you know, suggestions, what they would do. And that's a huge asset. So also, you're building a fan base for you and your movies, which I think is super important in the indie world, because if you don't have Tom Cruise, you know, you have to reach an audience. And if people have a vested interest because they've shook your hand, it's just like politics, you know? It's like, it's harder to vote against somebody if you've actually looked them in the eye. You know what I mean? So I like going to the places. I like supporting the movie. I have a weird thing about, like, being worried about my movie playing when I'm not there. Like, what if something goes wrong? Like, what's going to go wrong? It's a movie. It's technical. Anyways. But yeah, I love the traveling and the film festivals, and I think it's good on many, many levels.
I think it's great, too, that you have a track record. A lot of people tap out after one or two. This is not an easy thing, and you don't always make money back, and sometimes there's debt, and there's all these different things. A lot of people are like, you know what, I'm out. This is it. And I think it's great that you have this track record, and I'm sure it's not easy, but I think that shows a lot of people that they can invest in you because you're willing to show up again.
Sure, and like, I think that's true, and I think there's lots of times where I didn't know if I was going to be able to make another movie. My first one, Outside Sales, I was so far in debt when that film finished the festival circuit. I went back to a bar, was working 6 days a week, was broke, didn't have anything, didn't have distribution for the movie. It was a really low time. And then I had this script, Weather Girl, that I sent to the lead actress, Tricia O'Kelly, who had just been in Outside Sales as my lead actress. And she read the script, and I was asking her for notes. Being a man, writing a female character, you know, she's one of my favorite actresses, so I'm like, take a look, tell me what you think. And she's like, I love this movie, I want to make this movie. And I tried to talk her out of it. I'm like, no, you don't want to make a movie, I'm telling you. Like, I'm so far in debt, you know, and she's like, well, we won't do that. But so we partnered up, and we raised the money to make the movie, and like, I was out of the restaurant world again, you know. But it's like, it's funny. It's cyclical, and it's always a risk. And I love having I'll tell you, one of the easiest things about Cut to the Chase for me was nobody was challenging my being there. You know what I mean? And most of your career as a filmmaker or a writer or an actor is like convincing people that you are right where you're supposed to be, you know? Like 6 Month Rule, we had an all LA cast in Shreveport, Louisiana, and I was the writer, director, and star, you know? And like, I felt like I was proving myself every day, not just to my crew, not just to the talent, but, you know, to everyone, you know? And so you'd get a little ground, and people would trust you, and then, you know, third week was easy. First 2 weeks was really hard, right? This movie, there was never that. People were on board from the very beginning, and that's just because of the track record. It's just because they're like, he's done this before, I like that movie, we trust him. And not having to gain that faith, it just makes everything so much easier.